Hey everybody, Thesha here with Legacy of Light in conjunction with One Love Wellness Center here in Menasha, Wisconsin, coming to you for one of my 365 days from my heart to yours. And today I'm sharing again from the Fifth Agreement. So Don Miguel Ruiz and, what is his son's middle name? And Don Jose Ruiz, which is his son. And I don't have the cover on this anymore. Got a little bit tattered, but I just think the back picture is adorable because it's a picture of them together. And they're smiling, and I was like, oh, it's so sweet. So today we're going to be on the third one talking about making assumptions. So I'm just going to read a little bit from that chapter and then always, chat with you about my views on it all. So making assumptions and then taking them personally is the beginning of hell in this world. Almost all of our conflicts are based on this. And it's easy to understand why. Assumptions are nothing more than lies that we are telling ourselves. This creates a big drama for nothing because we don't really know if something is true or not. Making assumptions is just looking for drama when there's no drama happening. And if drama is happening in someone else's story, so what? It's not your story. It's someone else's story. And be aware that almost everything you tell yourself is an assumption. If you're a parent, you know how easy it is to make assumptions about your children. It's midnight and your daughter isn't home yet. She was out at a dance and you thought she would be home by now. You start imagining the worst and you start making assumptions. Oh, what if? So when the truth arrives and all the lies are dispelled, you realize that you are simply torturing yourself for nothing. So don't make assumptions. If not taking anything personally gives you immunity in the interactions that you have with other people, then not making assumptions gives you immunity in the interaction that you have with yourself, with your voice of knowledge, or what we call thinking. Making assumptions is all about thinking. We think too much, and then thinking leads to assumptions. Just thinking what if can create huge drama in our lives. So humans have a need to explain and justify everything. We have a need for knowledge, and we make assumptions to fulfill our need to know. We don't care whether the knowledge is true or not. Truth or fiction, we believe 100% in what we believe, and we go on believing it. Because just having knowledge makes us feel safe. There are so many things that the mind cannot explain. We have all these questions that need answers, but instead of asking questions when we don't know something, we make all sorts of assumptions. It's better to ask and be clear. And if we just ask questions, we won't have to make assumptions. If we don't make assumptions, we can focus our attention on the truth and not what we think is the truth. Then we see life the way it is, not the way we want to see it. As we shall see, when we don't believe in our own assumptions, the power of our belief that we invested in them returns to us. When we recover all the energy that we have invested in making assumptions, we can use that energy to create a new dream, our personal heaven. So don't make assumptions. And this one may be, a little bit more difficult of a task, so to speak, than the other two. I mean, sometimes don't think it's any more difficult than not taking anything personally. But, he said if not taking anything personally gives you immunity in your interactions with someone else, then these not making assumptions gives you immunity within the interactions with yourself. And a lot of, our reality and our existence comes from how we are treating ourselves, how we are interacting with ourselves, because that spills out into our reality and everybody else within our reality, because then that's how we interact with them, and that comes through the same thing. So if we work on not making these assumptions and just I think, like I talked about yesterday, just taking that time to stop and realizing, okay, I'm aware of this situation now, what can I do? So just that, a split second to maybe think about, okay, is this an assumption? Does this, am I overthinking, is it something that I need to be concerned about, or to think about, or to, try to suss out what's going to happen or whatever? I need the answer. I need the knowledge. Do I really? Because sometimes, like you said, we are overthinking. Like, we want answers to everything. We want to know this. We want to know that. Like, sometimes we want to know so many things that we miss out on living our lives and seeing what's in front of us right now. Because we're like, well, how will this work out? What if? And that what if is like the the vocal killer, not the vocal silent killer or whatever, but it's what ifs. What if? Who cares? What's happening right now? These what ifs keep us from living in the now, and keep us within that the whole thing of making assumptions and trying to figure out, like, all the, there is no way to figure out the infinite possibilities that are in this world. But if we keep trying to with our what ifs, it actually blocks these infinite possibilities from coming to fruition within our lives. Because we're so consumed with these assumptions and having this knowledge and the answers to everything. I mean, haven't you ever wanted to know something so bad, and then you find out the answer, you have the knowledge of what that answer is, and it's, oh, well, like, you almost don't even feel any different, because now you know, and it wasn't the great culmination that you thought it would be. And then you spend all this time invested in wanting to know this answer, that there was, probably a big portions of things that you missed out on because you were so invested in just finding this one answer and, finding, making all these assumptions of the what ifs, that you missed out on the now. You missed out. And, that's okay. But once we have things brought into our awareness, then we can make different choices. We can, work on being impeccable with our word. Work on not taking anything personally. And work on not making assumptions, because this relationship with you is how you bring yourself to the world. That's the most important relationship, is you with you. And figuring out how that all, works and meshes, and just loving every part of it. And then, once we become aware of these things, it's not like you need to, like, get down on yourself or, not love that part of yourself. You're just aware of that part, and you can love it for what it is. And just see it. Be the observer of that. Like, wow. You know, I spent a lot of time not being impeccable with my word, and that's okay, because now I'm aware. And now I can, change my perception. I can change my attitude. I can change the direction that I'm going at. And, thank you, universe, for showing me that. Because now with my awareness, I don't have to continue on that path. Think about it that way. Like, wow, I could have kept going in that for however long. And maybe, sometimes never being aware of these things. But awareness is an awesome, amazing gift. Because then when we become aware, we get to make the choice. To continue with this path, or to choose something else. I can choose this or something better. We can choose to remain on the same path. Just because you're aware doesn't mean that it's like everything changes like lightning fast. You still have to make the choice of what you are going to do with this awareness. I know for me, a couple years ago, as I was, becoming more aware of things, and I just thought that everybody who became aware was then just, automatically on this different level, and things would be cool, and like I couldn't understand why some people who were, quote unquote aware were still like hanging out in these, lower level attributes or, issues. And I was baffled by it. I was, why are you still doing that? It's because we have free will and we have a choice. And that's cool. And now if I see, something like that, I let it roll off me. It's not such a burden to me or a question of, of why, and like, I know that they're just on their own journey, and that the beautiful part of this universe and this earth plane is that we do have free will. We do have our choice. So that means that everybody gets to choose. And, does not judging and not assuming, having these assumptions about what other people are going through or whatever decisions they're making is none of our business. Our business is our relationship to ourselves. And working on that aspect. And then that will, transpose itself into your reality. So if we don't make assumptions, we can focus our attention on the truth, not on what we think is the truth. Then we see life the way it is and not the way we want to see it. As we shall see, when we don't believe our own assumptions, the power of our belief that we invested in them returns to us. we take our power back that we've been giving out. And most of it's been given away unknowingly because we weren't aware that our actions were actually giving our power away. And that's cool because now you're aware of that. And now you have the choice with what you want to do with it. And the great part of that is that no choice is right or wrong. It just is. And, if we make a choice and we're not completely happy with that choice, make a different one. It's okay. Because sometimes we make these choices and things seem to be going well, and then they change because we change and our trajectory changes. And so then we can make a different decision. It doesn't mean that all these decisions that we've made prior were wrong. They are the decisions we made at the level that we were at. And, as you begin to, what I call, leveling up, of course your decisions are going to change. You're changing. The universe is always changing. It's a constant flow and change. And we're all part of that magnificence. And we have a choice. We have a choice in everything that we do. And we have a choice within our awareness. And, a while back, I did a journey, and a shamanic journey, and part of the message was just laugh at everything. Don't take everything so seriously. And I have to remind myself of that too, because sometimes just a good laugh is good. Just, to move on, and, and while you're working all these, different things, being impeccable with your word and not taking anything personally and not making assumptions, laugh, laugh at your seriousness, laugh at the situation, laugh at, the thought of 3 months from now, is this really going to be this serious for me? A year from now, is this really going to be this serious for me? And I would say, most of the time it is not. It's not. It's just, our monkey mind keeps us going in these reels ooh, what if? And it's just out of fear. And it's okay because, our mind and our ego are part of us that have been trying to protect us in the way that they know. And that's okay. What this whole thing is about, integrating this all, mind, body, spirit, so that it's balanced. And one part isn't bad, or trying to the evil devil within you, your mind. It's just all the parts are doing the best that they can, and we need to learn the balance. And I really believe that Don Miguel and both of them are helping in that, with this Toltec wisdom, and how to bring this balance, and how to realize these things, and be human, and live your life through the dream, and make, you know, your creation what you want it to be. To share your divine expression of who you are and who you came here to be. And how to do that in the best way without harming yourself or harming others. And it's just, you know, love. So yeah, thank you guys. And just remember that you are eternally adored and loved for just being you. Just being that divine expression that you are.